Hi guys, Rob Flux here from Property Developer Network, coming to you for another real deal in the field, and I'm here with one of my students, Sam Byrne, at his splitter block here in Mitchelton. Hey Sam, how are you, mate?
Good, mate, how are you?
Excellent.
Good.
Now, splitter block, we're based in Queensland for this particular deal, and splitters are kind of everywhere here, but for our interstate people, so in New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, etc., splitter blocks are everywhere, but it's this kind of hidden little secret. So why don't you tell our good viewers what a splitter block actually is?
Yeah, sure. So a splitter block is a property on 2 blocks of land over 1 title. So in this example, it's 800 square metres worth of land, and it's already split into two 400 blocks. And all you need to do is split those 2 titles, and away you go. You can sell them separately.
Yeah, and when we say split the 2 titles, it's actually a pre-approved process. So there's no development approvals through council. This is dealing with the state government and just effectively lifting the titles in order to do that. And what that actually reveals, you'll see behind us, is 1 existing house and a vacant block of land. Now, in this particular instance, the house was located to one side and what we would like to call a unicorn. So a unicorn is where the house is perfectly located, but this little unicorn had a little bit of a horn on its side, didn't it, mate?
It did indeed, yes. So unfortunately the house, although it was off to one side, it did encroach on the second boundary. So it had a very small extension that came off the side of the house, being a deck and also a little kitchen area, which had to be removed so that we could have an unencumbered title that was ready for market or ready for refinancing.
So a little bit of handiwork in order to remove that extension, realign where the stairs are and that sort of thing. We're going to go through the property in a sec to actually have a look. But from start to where we are right now, how far in this process for this, mate?
Yeah, sure. So we started the project on the 3rd of March, and here we are today on the 1st of June. So 4 months it'll be tomorrow, and it's on the market this Friday.
There you go. So 4 months, and already had the agents through today, and they've indicated that they're going to have some early offers really quick in the piece, and we're on target to get how much money, mate?
1.45 is where the agent is saying it's going to sit on the market.
And which will give us about how much percentage return and how much cash return, which is the most important part.
Yeah, sure. So percentage, it'll be around about 40%, and we should be looking at about $400,000 in profit.
$400,000 profit in 4 months. That's pretty good, mate. Nearly swore. Luckily, I edited myself. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a look around. But before we do, you told me a really interesting story about how you came across the site. Now, a lot of us do letterbox drops, but yours had a little bit of a twist, mate. What was the twist to this one?
Yeah, sure. At times it felt like the deal that was never going to happen, actually. So when I was looking to approach the owners by way of dropping a letter to them in the letterbox, the initial thing that put me off was that it said the owner's name, care of a solicitor's office in Brisbane, which to me, I thought to myself, well, that's not really going to go anywhere. But sort of threw a letter in the letterbox, and a couple of weeks later, mate got contact from their solicitor, and they had explained that they were considering their options, and that sort of it started from there anyway.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not familiar with our network, we go into the real deal process in a great deal of detail at our meetups. So we'll go to the short version of the story here, but let's just say that negotiating with a solicitor is not very it's rather direct, isn't it, mate?
It sure is, yeah. Putting a strategy together is very difficult. They don't mince their words, put it that way.
No, it's basically, what do you want? What have you got? Let's go. But managed to pull it together and 400K out of the process. So let's go and take a look at it, and we'll show you the finished product, and we'll also tell you about a couple of the other issues and challenges along the way. So we're just going to reset the camera at the other side, and we'll see you in a sec.
Sounds good.
So here we are inside, and as we can see, it's already staged, ready to sell. Now, Sam, you are a builder by trade, but you're trying to, I guess, get your hands off the tools.
Absolutely, that was my intention for this project.
Intention, so clearly that didn't work, mate. So, but by doing that and keeping yourself on the tools, it's probably saved you a few bucks in the process. Having seen the condition of the property beforehand, it was in quite a bit of a state with some asbestos and a few other things that needed to be removed. But then when you have a look at the finished product, it's come up quite nice and shiny, mate. So roughly ballpark, what did you spend on the reno, including taking the side off, did a little bit of retaining work and earthworks and a few other things. What did we spend on the build?
Yeah, total spend was about 120,000. That included 20,000 straight off the bat for the carport and driveway. Definitely the excavation works and stuff blew out a lot. Spent a little bit more in different areas than I would have liked to. And probably the way the market is at the moment, it's making me look a lot smarter than I actually am, because the reality is if the market hadn't have moved, then I probably would have overcapitalised on it.
Well, you say that, but you're still walking away with 400k, mate. So I'm sure that not all of that was the market movement. So don't undersell yourself. Now, you mentioned a couple of little challenges along the way with some of the tradies, which is why you got on the tools. So tell us a couple of the stories that happened along the way with, I guess, people not able to do the work, mate.
Yeah, sure. So I did my best effort to stay off the tools myself. That was my first intentions, but unfortunately, we had, at one stage we had concrete fall into a fire pit in a restaurant. My tiler's mother died, and then my carpenter decided that he would go away and work on his own house. So for a month, it was just me plodding along on my tools to get the job finished. And yeah, look, it's one of those things that I always say that building's 80% babysitting and 20% building. So I'm more of a babysitter than a builder these days, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's come up a treat, mate. Let's do the 2-second tour and show everybody around. So I'm gonna follow you.
Cool.
So give us the guided tour, mate.
Yeah, cool. So this is this wall used to come through to here, and there was a bit of bookshelf on the inside. So this was really the only access to the kitchen from the lounge. So we've opened
that wall's been taken down.
Yep. So we've opened this right up. This kitchen itself was actually a wood grain colour initially, and what we've done is we've actually had this all newly painted, so it's not actually a brand new kitchen. They are brand new bench tops, so all in this kitchen cost $6,000 plus the appliances, so a really good economical way to achieve what looks like a brand new kitchen. Obviously the floors have all been stripped up. There was actually tiles in here originally. There was a door in here through to one of the bedrooms which had to be taken out.
Oh, nice bare feet, mate. I'm just showing everyone the floorboards.
Thanks, mate. I'm going to take my shoes off and I'm walking over the rugs. And this is another bedroom in here. All the walls were relined. Air conditioning units were sort of hanging outside the wall, one of those 1970s ones. Yeah, so we head this way. I'll show you into the master bedroom. So this is kind of the lounge area, and when I purchased the property, this room through here was sort of being used as a bit of a secondary lounge. So what we've done is actually close this room in by creating a wall here, and then this becomes the master bedroom. So the colours that we've used are sort of a light blue, that Hamptons kind of look, with the contrast with the white. And actually, if you follow me, when I first bought the house, there was a large tree just here, which was sort of leaning over the house. And when I chopped the tree down, I found that there were actually some city glimpses.
Some city glimpses all the way out there, mate. So that would be quite pretty at night when you're lying in bed.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll look good for the photos happening on Friday.
There's the carport that you built. So a little bit of retaining plus the carport, plus the path down the side.
Yep. So this is the master. This is bed number 2. So this is the one that was, this is bright pink, and it had some laminate flooring in it, and it had a door that went just out here straight into the lounge. So the layout was something that really put me off with the house initially. I sort of really scratched my head as to how I was sort of going to make it work, and it's probably another reason why the deal could have slipped through, because it was one of those homes that sort of had bits and pieces going on everywhere.
Well, good. Let's go have a look at the room that you had to cut in half in order to turn this bad boy into an actual dwelling. So I might stick my head out the corner. So as we look around the corner now, excuse me going on my side here, folks. Whoops. Actually, let's do this a little bit better. So down the side here was an extension that jutted out the side. So you had to chop that off in order to access this vacant block that's sitting here. So tell us a little bit about what you had to do in order to get that across.
Yeah, sure. So there was a door that opened up into the kitchen, and that opened up into a deck on the outside, and the deck overhung the boundary by about 3 or 4 metres, and then the deck walked into a sort of an external kitchen area. So by taking all of that down, we were able to remove the encroachment on the block, which means that then we can free up the block to build on or to sell or to refinance. And it just so happens as well that the setback from the fence is almost spot on 900, which means we shouldn't have to do any fire rating on the new home when we come to build it.
Perfect. Well, let's go next door and have a look at what that looks like.
Sounds good.
Mate, here we are on the vacant block of land, and we can just see the outside of the house with the bit that you had to cut off the edge. So it was a little bit of a veranda and a kitchen from what you were saying that you chopped off.
Yeah, that's right. So there were stairs probably about where we're standing now that took you up onto a deck, and then there was a door that went through just by the downpipe there, which would basically take you straight into the kitchen. And then up the top here we can see this gable that's a bit different to all the other designs of gables. That was a roof that came out. So basically we've taken all that down, and then from where the FC or the fibro cladding is from their back, that was where the kitchen was. So where we're standing was a deck, and then there was a kitchen basically where the car is there. So that's all been taken off and stitched back together.
So if it wasn't for that sticking onto here, this would have been what we call a unicorn, which meant that the house was perfectly positioned. So a small amount of work in order to unlock this vacant block of land. Now, we touched on before, the profit is about 400K in capital uplift. But you're going to actually stack another strategy on top of here. So when you exit that one, you're going to roll the cash over into this one, and you're going to build again. So what are you going to build here, and what are you looking to achieve here?
Yeah, sure. So basically I'm going to refinance this and take the cash out, and then that can go into other deals in the meantime. And while I'm getting the plans done for this particular property, which is going to be rooming accommodation, we're about 800 metres to the train station. Rooming accommodation is basically 5-bed, 5-bath, and you can then rent out each room individually. So it's a good little pocket for it, really close to transport, really good shops around. So that's the sort of strategy that I think that will suit that, and that allows me to be able to hold a high-end property in a good suburb without it being cash flow, with it being quite nicely cash flow positive.
When we say quite nicely, like how much cash flow are you looking to generate from this?
Yeah,
room?
So pre-tax, it should be cash flow positive by about 25,000 a year.
About 25,000 a year. So all the money that went in has come back out and gone, and still generates 25K a year. Do that a couple more times, mate. Financially free.
Yeah, that's right.
All good. Okay, folks, well, that's a real deal in the field. We're going to hear all about Sam's deal in full detail at an upcoming meetup. So if you're interested in hearing the full story and some fleshing out of some of those issues and challenges that he had, come on down to one of our meetups. And until then, stay tuned for the next real deal in the field. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for coming, mate.
All good.
See you guys.